welcome to Great Day at 9 a.m. I'm Nicole and
Scott Haney here. Nice to see you all on this Friday, September 8th. I got to call my cousin. You know, you get those days and you say, this is a day I got somebody's birthday.
Yep.
Just on me in the newsroom, it's my cousin Michael's birthday.
Oh, how old is Michael going to be?
He's got to be, you know what, it might be the big 5-0 this year.
Really?
Yeah. I gotta call him and figure out which one it is.
Especially if it's the big one.
Especially if it's the big one, is right. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm really happy it's Friday.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a really tough week.
Tough week is right.
Tough week in news. It's been a tough week weather-wise too, right? With this heat.
Again, with the heat, it's just unbelievable.
And it's so hard trying to find some activities for the kids. You know, we have gone out intermittently at times, but there have been some days where I'm like, I really don't want to hang out here more than 5 minutes if we can help it.
I know. I'm totally with you.
So you do what you can.
Do what you can.
You can. So we'll have the latest on the forecast in just a moment.
Absolutely.
But first, we're getting back to our top headlines where Connecticut State Police are continuing their investigation into the crash that killed Hartford police officer Bobby Garton and seriously hurt Officer Brian Kearney. Now, there is video of the crash and what happened leading up to it when police say 18-year-old Richard Barrington drove away after being pulled over by different officers. Investigators tell us that Barrington blew through 2 red lights before hitting the cruiser that Officers Garton and Kearney were in. Now, Officer Garton was in the passenger seat and died after that wreck.
Barrington is now being held on a $1 million bond. He faced a judge for the first time yesterday afternoon after being treated for minor injuries. Right now, he's facing several motor vehicle violations, but prosecutors are still deciding on more serious charges. Police say Barrington was originally pulled over for turning left at a red light before taking off after being stopped, and the 18-year-old only had his learner's permit, which means he shouldn't have been on the road at the time. Officers Kearney and Garton were responding to another call that was unrelated to Barrington's stop. Community support continues to roll in as Hartford grieves Officer Bobby Garton. And
Matt McFarland is at the state capitol with how he's being remembered this morning.
Flags here at the state capitol and around the state remain at half-staff as the tributes come in from near and far. Police agencies from around the state are offering support following the line-of-duty death of Hartford officer Bobby Garton. Bristol police, who dealt with the loss of 2 officers just last year, extending their condolences and saying they stand behind their brothers and sisters in Hartford. And heartfelt messages even coming from out of state, with Vermont State Police saying Officer Garton, his loved ones, his colleagues, and all the members of the Hartford Police Department are in our thoughts and prayers. And it's not just those condolences. New Haven's police chief saying his department is offering its peer support teams, their comfort dogs, whatever Hartford needs.
I've spoken to many chiefs, and we'll all be supporting the Hartford Police Department. And that's, again, the fraternity of policing. You know, you only know it because you've done it, and you've had to bury your own officers, and it's a terrible, terrible tragedy.
And the Hartford Police Department responding on social media, thanking everyone for their support and their prayers during what is most certainly a difficult time. Reporting in Hartford, Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, the Puerto Rican Festival and Parade that was set for Sunday in Hartford has been postponed out of respect for Officer Garton.
And we will continue to bring you any new information about the investigation into the crash, as well as Officer Brian Kearney's recovery, who is still in the hospital, by the way. So we will have everything that you need on air and on the Channel 3 app, including the weather.
Including the weather. Let's get to the weather, because it's another day, another hot day. We're talking about temperatures today that are expected to climb into the mid to upper 80s, but it's going to feel like it's the low to mid 90s out there with the heat indices, so just keep that in mind. We are in first alert mode through this evening, another day, another first alert, and we're talking about heat, and we're also talking about the potential for some storms a little bit later on this afternoon, and that's why it's a dual-fold alert here. The heat indices again between 95 and 100, and some of those storms, we could have some gusty wind and some hail. Now, the heat advisory, when I came in this morning, it wasn't in effect for the 4 shoreline counties, but it was added around 3:30 this morning. Litchfield County, you're not in the heat advisory, but you should be playing along, as well as southeast Connecticut. You guys are going to be developing a little bit of an onshore breeze that'll keep the temperatures a little bit cooler. Let's take a look at First Alert Futurecast. It is tomorrow's weather today. Watch the storm start. You see right there at around 4 or 5 o'clock? It's basically west of I-84 that this activity is going to be taking place. You'll notice Fairfield County at 7 p.m., and then that kind of, it just dissipates and falls apart. And then tomorrow, not so bad. According to Futurecast, I don't think it's going to be a great day. I don't think it's going to be the worst day either. Certainly not going to be a washout as we move through the day tomorrow. Just some scattered showers around from time to time. So just grab an umbrella, throw it in the backseat of your car. The rest of today, we're talking about that shoreline temperature is incorrect. I do apologize. 86 degrees for inland Connecticut, anywhere from 86 to 88, and for the shoreline about 85 degrees. Scattered, humid showers tomorrow, 85 to 82, and then Sunday, humid with scattered showers and storms. It gets a little bit better in terms of temperature, but the humidity is still with us. All right. It was just last night.
Democratic mayoral debate, co-hosted by WFSB 3 and CT Insider.
I feel very official standing here.
At the podium. It
was just late last night. The three leading Democratic candidates for Hartford's mayoral race were right here in Studio B.
Channel 3 and CT Insider hosted the only televised debate before the primary next week. And as all three got the chance to tell voters what they deserve the nomination, or why they deserve the nomination.
We need a gavel.
I know, right? I don't feel that many people...
Oh, it's not court. You're right, Becky.
Well...
It's a debate. Exactly. Well, sometimes if they do that during a...
You're debating that you should have a gavel,
exactly.
Right? Patricia Del Rio is revealing why each one thought that they were most qualified. Take a look.
With just 5 days until the Democratic primary election on September 12th, the three leading candidates for Hartford mayor answered questions from panelists and each spoke of their commitment to making Hartford better. Arunan Arulampalam, a businessman who is endorsed by outgoing Mayor Luke Bronin, touted his business acumen as head of the Hartford Land Bank.
Where we take Hartford residents, we train them to redevelop those properties, to build wealth and build businesses off of them, and to build home ownership.
Eric Coleman, a veteran judge and former state senator, spoke of his reputation as a man of the people dedicated to public service.
I've been connected to Hartford for over 50 years. I was married in Hartford. I operate a small business in Hartford. I worship in Hartford. I pay taxes in Hartford.
And Senator John Fonfara, who was raised in Hartford, talked about his lifelong love and commitment to the city.
What I believe the city needs most, I can't accomplish from where I am, but I believe I can as mayor of this city.
Top of mind was Wednesday's death of a Hartford police officer killed in the line of duty. The candidates asked about how they would reduce crime in the capital city.
We have to pay our police officers competitive rates, so that because today we lose so many of our police officers to the suburbs after we train them.
I believe there needs to be a partnership between police officers and the communities that they protect and serve.
I'm going to create an Office of Violence Prevention to coordinate resources between our nonprofits, our police, and our schools. I'm going to have cops walking a beat again, building relationships in the community.
Another key topic, lack of affordable housing.
Going after those out-of-state slumlords, taking over those properties, using tools that we already have, using our blight liens and our tax liens, and putting them in the hands of Hartford residents.
There are units that are in bad shape. We need to have rapid response to address properties that are blighted.
Utilizing the process of eminent domain to take property that has been neglected by absentee, out-of-state slumlords.
Patricia Del Rio, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Now, all of the candidates were asked if they would support the eventual Democratic nominee. Fonfara and Arulampalam said yes, and Coleman said that he could not answer yes or no.
Now, on Monday, Channel 3 Chief Political Reporter Susan Raff and Hartford Bureau Chief Aya Galal will be joining us for a primary preview. The primary is Tuesday, September, the primary.
Yeah, primary, and then election day is, can you believe it's going to be coming up soon before you know it?
Like two and a half.
Months away,
yeah, it's like 2.5, 3 months.
November 7th.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Time is just flying by.
All right, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, listen up. We have.
Yeah.
You need to update your devices, Nicole.
Yeah, Apple just issued an emergency warning for a major security fix. And Apple says, are you doing it right now?
I'm doing it right now.
Apple says it's concerned that hackers may already be exploiting the security flaw. But all you have to do is just download the newest iOS version to fix it. So here's how. Are you listening, Scott?
I'm listening. I'm doing it.
Go to the settings menu on your device.
Yeah.
From there, select General and then Software Update. And make sure to tap Install Now to start the process.
Oh, boy. All right, you lost me at go to settings.
Well, the good news is we have instructions on our website, too.
All right, perfect.
There wasn't any information released about what the security issue was. My whole concern is when you download all of these apps, Do you really read the fine print?
Of course not. Accept, accept, accept. That's what you do. You go to the bottom and you hit accept.
And have you heard of the thing called the dark web? That's
Well,
where they take a lot of information, not necessarily apps, but when you voluntarily give out your information.
Who are you, Spider-Man? The dark
Yes,
web?
and I have
My-
spidey senses.
Whoa. This is incredible.
Just be careful. Be safe, be careful. Make sure to do the upgrade.
Absolutely. All right. You have one